Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you like what you see here, don't forget to like and subscribe below. Yeah, this is my kitchen, and today we're going to be making some air dry clay with household items. Alright, let's get started. So the things that you're going to need are first cornstarch. If you don't have cornstarch, you can use flour instead. But you know, there are many different ways to make air dry clay. I just like this one because it comes out like nice and smooth. But you know, don't be afraid to like Google that, you know, like just look up different recipes that you might find, you know, in order to find like the one that works for you. So the other material that we're gonna need is some lotion. But you know, it doesn't really matter the brand, just maybe choose one that you know you like the smell of. And if you're like, that's expensive, then you know you can just go to Walgreens and pick yourself up some cheap conditioner. This like giant bottle was like $3. So just to review, you're gonna need some cornstarch and some lotion, or you could use flour and conditioner. All right, so once you have all your ingredients, you're gonna need to find a bowl and something to mix with. So I've got my plastic mixing bowl here. Make sure that when you choose a bowl, it's not a bowl that your parents would be upset with you using. Like, don't whip out grandma's fine china for this, you know? You're gonna have to clean it later. So I've got this plastic bowl here, and I'm gonna begin by measuring out my cornstarch. So the ratio for this mixture is 2 parts starch and 1 part lotion. What that means is however much starch you use, you're going to use half that amount of lotion. And you know, it's not a perfect science. Like if you find that your mixture turns out a little dry, then you're gonna add just a little extra lotion. If it's a little too wet, add a little more starch, you know, just kind of work it until you like what you have. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna measure our cup. And I forgot to mention right here, I have a measuring cup, but you know, if you don't have a measuring cup at home, then because I said the ratio was 2 to 1, you could just use like, you know, your hand, and you could guesstimate. You could do like, you know, a handful of cornstarch and then like a half handful of lotion, or you could use like a, you know, regular old tablespoon, and you could spoon out like 4 spoonfuls of cornstarch and then 2 spoonfuls of lotion. Okay, so just use whatever measuring devices you have around. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there, and next I'm gonna get my lotion. Here we go. Oh yeah. That is not disgusting at all. All right. Yes, ma'am. I hope you guys have fun with this. 'Cause I'm having fun. Okay, so, ooh, yes. I'm gonna just get all of that in there. Use my spoon to kind of get all the excess out. So now I'm gonna start mixing. Once it starts to get somewhat mixed, I'm going to start using my hands as well. I'm just gonna mix that up. It's kind of nice to have like a larger bowl, because if your bowl is too small, then you might run into an issue of like stuff flying out the sides, and then that's a bigger mess that you'll have to clean up later. So, all right, that's looking good. I'm gonna reach out with my hand and just kind of test that. Ooh, yes, very nice. Oh, this is awesome. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna use my hands from here on out. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so I have a lot of clay here. And once again, the measurements I used were 1 cup of cornstarch and a half cup of lotion. You might need to add a little more or a little less, depending on where you want it. I'm gonna test the elasticity of this mixture. To test the elasticity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slowly pull it apart. And when you pull it apart, you want it to kind of have this like teardrop shape, okay? So I'm pulling, very nice. And And that's why I really like this recipe. It's because it's just so smooth. You know, sometimes when you work with a salt dough recipe, it can be a little more chunky, you know? You don't get really that nice surface texture. I am thinking though that it's a little breakable, as you just saw. So I think I am actually gonna add just a little more moisture to this. As you actually begin sculpting stuff, you might want to add some petroleum jelly, aka Vaseline, to the surface. And what that will do is it will kind of even out any any like cracks that you might have. Oh, all right. This is quite the sensation. So once I get this all mixed in, there's actually a secret ingredient that I haven't really mentioned yet. And that's because it's optional. I didn't want you guys to feel like, oh, like I don't have that, so I can't do it. Nah. Like you can still make the clay. Oh man, I don't know about y'all, but my allergies have been really bad. Either that or, you know, I got the virus. Hopefully not. But you know, I'm quarantined. All right, I'm being careful. I'm being good. Although it is really hard not to leave the house, as I'm sure you guys are experiencing. Also, just like, I don't know. That's kind of why I wanted to do like a really hands-on thing, because I feel like it's easy to just kind of be bored and like depressed in the house all day by yourself. So I hope you guys are going outside and like getting sunlight and stuff like that. Okay, so my secret ingredient, I've got some food dye over here. And you know, adding food dye is super fun, but you want to make sure that you don't add too much because it will stain your hands. So I have like a lot of clay here, and for what I want to make, which is going to be a chess set, because I'm really cool, I'm gonna be doing 2 different colors. So let's see, how about, we'll just do maybe like a red and a blue or something. Nah, let's do pink and blue. And I'm just gonna kind of go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because again, if you add too much, it'll stain your hands, but also it's always easy to add more. You know what I mean? Like if you add too much and it turns out all crazy, like, well, you might have to start over. Looks like cotton candy. But you know what? I'm not gonna eat it. This is not edible. If you're doing this activity with a younger brother or sister, please make sure they understand this is not for eating. Not even playing. Because I know a lot of times they're like, I'm just playing. It's like, no. Get that away from your face. All right, well that is so cute. It's like a nice little bubblegum color. Okay, I'm gonna do some blue. Okay, we're just gonna do 6. I'm scared. Notice how I'm folding it away from my fingers, because I don't want to get it on my hands. Too late. I miss you guys, honestly. Just been like going crazy in my house. Right, got my pink and blue cotton candy. This is dope. Okay, so I totally stained my hands, but that's cool. I'm gonna take a quick break, wash my hands, and then I'm going to start playing around and making some chess pieces. Wash my hands, they look pretty good. So I wanted to show you guys just how to do some basic shapes when you're creating with your clay. If you want to make a ball, then you're going to just pinch off a little bit of the clay, put it in the palm of your hand, put your other palm on top, and just rotate it in sort of a clockwise motion. Okay, do that a little bit. Pay attention to where the peaks of the clay are to try to get it uniform. Okay, and there you go. So another thing you can do is you can roll it out to make like a snake or a cylinder. All right, it's another fun little shape to play with. You could curve it, curl it, you know, make all kinds of interesting little shapes. And like I said, this will dry out if you just leave it out. So, you know, if you wanted to make like a necklace pendant, you put like a little hole in there or something. To make a cube, what I do is I start out by rolling a sphere of clay and pinching each side evenly to create a cube. You can also use the surface of your table to make a cone. You again just kind of roll out that sphere shape. And this time, once I have my sphere, I'm going to take it like that, but I'm going to snake out just one side of it. By snake, I mean roll. You're just going to roll it to make part of it skinnier. Okay. It's really more like a, it's looking kind of like a teardrop, but I think you guys get the idea. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Okay. Next, I'm going to make a cylinder. You can use different tools that you have in your kitchen. Hopefully you have some silverware that you can use. So let's see, I'm gonna roll out my sphere and snake it a bit. I'm just rolling on top of a piece of parchment paper. You can use anything though. You can use cardboard, you know, whatever works for you, or just like your table surface. I mean, once everything's mixed, it shouldn't leave any residue. So like I was saying, you can just, you know, cut shapes however you need to, whatever works for you. So let me see if I can make a flower. To make a flower, you roll a ball, or if you don't want to say the word ball, you could say the word sphere. I'm going to flatten it into a petal. Peel that up. And then I'm going to roll it. Ooh, it's stuck to my hand. Oh no. Okay, try that again. All right, there we go. So that's going to be the center of my flower. And now I'm going to make another petal, just with that leftover clay there. Flatten it out. Attach another little petal to it. Okay. Looking a little more flower-like. Okay, so I went ahead and finished my flower off camera because like it was taking a long time, but it looks really good now. So I have my flower here, as you can see, very cute. But what I did is I created a base for it because the bottom was really flimsy and conical, meaning it had a cone shape. So what I did was I just took one of my squares, or my cubes, excuse me, and once I had that shaped, I took like one of these guys and I just kind of like put a little indentation inside of there so I could then put the flower, boop, like straight, you know, inside and then squeeze so that way it stays in place. I really like how this turned out, so I think I'm gonna have this be my queen, and I will show you guys the finished chess set in just a moment. One more thing that I wanted to share with you guys is if you have any cookie cutters at home, like for Christmas cookies or something like that, feel free to go ahead and just bust those out. As you know, I love cats, so I have my own little cat cookie cutter here. I made one earlier, but it kind of got stuck in there, so I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna put a little bit of cornstarch onto the surface of my clay. And I think that will prevent it from sticking this time. So let's try it. This is a different kind of cookie cutter because it puts a little impression on the cookie. Okay. Oh, much better. Okay, so that worked really well. So if you're worried about stuff getting stuck, go ahead and just put a little bit of cornstarch in there, and that should keep it together. Okay, so here's my chess set. Turned out pretty good. I'm kind of scared because my opponent is really fierce and excellent at chess. So hopefully I don't lose this round. But as you can see, that little batch of clay made a lot of good stuff. So I'm really excited to see what you guys make. And do not forget to clean up your mess, okay? Make sure that you put everything in the sink and you're washing it out so that you can continue to make really cool stuff and not have your parents be upset. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy this. I know I did. I know that this guy did as well. And yeah, once again, just looking forward to seeing what you guys make. Yeah, until next time.